Hello, greetings, greetings. It looks like I have confirmed that we are actually really live, which is some super, super good stuff. And I want to say welcome. It is Tuesday, it is Growth Groove, and you know what else it is? I realize you can see my entire situation today. So, everything from, we're going to cover up Daddy's pile of wipes and the extra special mounts. You got kind of some of everything. Apparently, my space moved. I don't know why I'm going to be obsessive about my background while you're already here. But let me just go ahead and say this. Number one, happy Tuesday. So glad you made it to Tuesday. Please feel free to put in the chat how you're doing and what's going on. I am honored to be able to share July 28th with you because guess what July 28th is? It is the day or anniversary of my birth. So I was born on July 28th. So it is my birthday, and you know what? Tuesday's my day. So I had to still show up for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. A couple of housekeeping tips. Number one, if you know somebody that needs this, tag them. If you know someone else that needs this, share. Sharing is caring. And please feel free to put hashtag replay in the comments if you watch it later. I'd love to know you were here. I'm still laughing because I keep looking at my dad's bucket of sanitizing wipes, trying to make sure that his baby girl was safe while she's working in the hospital. And I have to say, it's a little bit of an adventure. It definitely was in a transition going from working at home and working on my own businesses to being back in the hospital with potential exposures, especially because at home I wasn't around hardly anybody. And now I am around a lot of people and staying in a hotel. So the kind of cool thing is this is the last week I'm going to be coming to you from Chattanooga because I finished this contract this week because you know I am a traveling psychiatrist and I'll be back at home. So let's go ahead and get to what today's topic. So today's topic, it kind of got remixed a little bit from the promo, is the discussion around legacy and Bebe Campbell Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And this topic came around because of a few things. Number one, I think I've mentioned it before, that number one, this is my birthday. And as we get older, especially as we're older than our 30s, is that there's a lot of thought around what is the legacy that we're leaving? What is the meaning of our life? What is our purpose? What are we doing here? And that intersected with just a lot of other thoughts because also it is Bebe Campbell Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And I know that's a whole big mouthful to say, but I want to talk about why it's a mouthful and why I'm going to dedicate myself to saying the entire mouthful. Because I think it's a worthwhile conversation. We're going to probably spend more time on that in the context, along with how that interacts with some life skills and things we're dealing with as far as thinking about our lives than going into as many statistics about mental health tonight. So if you don't know who I am, and thanks for coming on, Mary, great to see you, is I am Dr. Ericka, Harvard-trained and double-board psychiatrist and integrative lifestyle coach. I'm on a mission to help women feel seen, valued, and whole on their own terms, but doesn't matter your gender. I'm here tonight with over 15 years worth of experience of human behavior to help you get through all of this craziness and this thing called life with your sanity intact. Oh, thanks for coming on, buddy. Oh, thanks for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. And today is special. The topic came up for a few things. One is, it is Bebe Campbell Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. I presented at the National Alliance of Mental Illness Conference earlier this month. And also, as I mentioned previously, this month has a very warm meaning, other than the fact that my birthday is in July, is that one of my closest friends, Dr. Timothy Benson, this is the month, that was the last time I actually saw him alive before he passed away. And we had all come to be with him to celebrate an event by NAMI Urban LA that they hosted to honor him. And that makes all of this tied and special to me, that NAMI Urban LA has a special place, Bebe Moore Campbell Mental Health Awareness Month has a special place, and it's my birthday. So we put all those together, we get this. So let's go ahead and get to it. So the first thing is the fact that I went and I was Googling, and I was just curious because part of this sparked a thought because a friend and colleague of mine, Courtney Lang, along with Dr. Nell Prim and Karis Jan Myrick, wrote this article about them not erasing. It's like, don't erase Bebe Moore Campbell from Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. It's a very good article. It's on stats.com. I highly, highly recommend it. But the circular thing of the article is that there's this discussion of changing the name of the month from Bebe Moore Campbell Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. It's so many words, and thanks for coming on, Dad. To Black and Indigenous People of Color Mental Health Awareness Month. And the discussion that they bring forward in the article is about the importance that Bebe Moore Campbell played in this month and being a symbol of hope. And if you're not familiar with Bebe Moore Campbell, I do highly recommend that you look her up. She was a wonderful Black author advocate that, you know, was also public with dealing with her struggles with mental health, but also wrote some very seminal books that had content of mental health in them. And within that, she was doing a lot of advocating and work for mental health in the Black community. And she helped found the NAMI Urban LA chapter, which is pretty spectacular. And it was really inspirational when I went to the event hosted by them and was able to hear a lot of the history behind the hard work she did and how that hard work turned into a movement, which is really good. So they wrote this article, and it really made me think. So I was like, well, let me get on Google and see. Not even getting to the point of changing the name over to Black and Indigenous People of Color, is let me look and see how often people mention her in conjunction with the month. And it's on a lot of websites, and these aren't like Boo Boo from West Nowhere. I have 10 people that look at my page websites, like huge websites. And the interesting thing is you see a lot of Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, but a lot of times her name was not necessarily mentioned. You see an entire article about Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, and they didn't mention her. And then you also think about right now, we're in this context of a social media world. And I know even I thought about how to include her name in my post. And if you use that as a hashtag, it's almost all your Twitter characters if you were to put Bebe Moore Campbell Minority Health Mental Awareness Month, which is one of the reasons a lot of these months you also will see the awareness out. So you'll see hashtag Minority Mental Health Month, Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And you realize that in this era of so much social media, that it's easy for things to get truncated because that's how the information is delivered. That sometimes when you have long bits of information, it's hard to deliver it and hard for it to fit into hashtag. So it made me think of the fact that it's so easy, if you are not aware of history, that at times it's difficult to convey it in the current climate that we're in. And in this case, whether or not you're like, things should be Black and Indigenous People of Color, because I did have a conversation with one of my good friends that's in the diversity and inclusion space, you know, around the emergence of this term, but looking at the importance of how can we transmit and communicate history. Because one of the huge things you look at is, you know, I realize a lot of my demographic, we're young in our hearts, we're mature in our minds and bodies and spirits. And thanks for coming on, Dr. Katina. I think thanks for coming on, Kevin. Is that we're all looking for how to live our purpose and how to live our legacy And I think in some ways, people go different directions of when they think about leaving a legacy. Is that how many people know your name, or how many people actually know what you did, or are you passing on your legacy through your children, or who knows you were here? And it brings up an interesting point of how you define your legacy and how you define your role in history. And I think looking at this discussion within this specific case, but it happens with so many things, that there may be a name of, with something, or someone that worked for something, and then all of a sudden you know what the result was, but you don't necessarily know the struggles, the sacrifice, and the hard work that went into it. Just like we know Apple, for an example, we can say, I love my iPad, I love my iPhone, I love my MacBook Pro, I love all that stuff. And I've heard of Steve Jobs. I couldn't name any other single person that had to do with any of this stuff. And I'm sure Steve Jobs did not create all of this wonderful stuff in a vacuum. But looking at where is the meaning and the legacy, and when we're looking at how we're transmitting information, and even a simple idea of whether or not her name is associated with Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, is part of her legacy is this having this strong voice and presence and determination and dedication to making sure that not only was mental health available and the access improved for Black people, but also looking to decrease stigma and awareness so people can even start to get the help that they need. And so I think there should be a way to be current with, because there's so many changes in nomenclature going on, to be current with terms that are sensitive to different underrepresented or communities that have been historically oppressed, or communities that have had limited access to resources, while still finding ways to honor and preserve history. And we realize in some ways, when you put people's names on stuff, it helps the name last. Like one thing to think about is, like, I live in Atlanta. We've all talked about Freedom Parkway for years, and ironically, on Freedom Parkway sits the Carter Center. So I know growing up in Atlanta in school, you'd actually almost associate it with Jimmy Carter, even though it was just Freedom Parkway. And then they renamed it John Lewis Freedom Parkway, which our hearts were warmed, and rest in peace to John Lewis. But sometimes when you put people's names places that are prominent, it helps keep their history and hold their place, because especially as the news cycle and the information cycle, there's so much information, the news cycles are shorter, that it's very easy for history to get lost. And part of the reason that we're all in such a huge struggle with all of this racial injustice is it's like everything keeps repeating itself, because the history isn't always held. The history is not always held from us that our communities experienced it. The history is not held from those that may not have experienced it that are here, or those that just aren't aware. And it's important to hold on to all this history, because this history makes us better. It keeps us from repeating past sins. It keeps us from repeating past mistakes. It keeps people from getting hurt unnecessarily. And the reason this kind of comes up in the realm of my birthday, so I also want to say thank you for everybody for telling me so many happy birthday wishes. And thank you, Diane, you came in just in time. Is that one of the things we look at as you get older, and I really feel like is one of the things that you do in your 40s. I'm not going to tell you where in my 40s I am, but I'm in my 40s. Is that this is a time where you're looking for not only what is your purpose, but what are you going to do? What's the legacy you're going to leave? How are you going to make a difference in the world? And with our current racial climate, a lot of people, and it's not just Black people, are looking for what is their role to be in the change that they feel like this country needs to be able to honestly live up to the principles that we were all taught that it was born and made and built on, was the idea that there should be liberty and justice and freedom for all, and that people are united and things are equitable and everyone has an opportunity to get the American dream. And to be able to move towards those realities instead of those realities only being present for a small subset of the country is that people are looking at what is their role in change. What role are they going to be in hopefully this new vision of the United States and of America? And all of this comes back to identity, purpose, and legacy. And I know for me, a large part of my purpose, it's not simply helping people, but I realized as I've gotten older, and I don't know if I always knew it was here, but there's something about Spelman that made it even more clear, is that I have a passion and a purpose to help women be able to stand firm in their identity and to feel loved and feel free and feel empowered to choose what is the life that they want, not the life everyone tells them they're supposed to do or the life they're supposed to have. And I also have a passion for people to be able to feel loved, cared for, and seen, no matter what your gender is. And in this context, whatever your background is, be it your religion, be it your gender identity, your sexual preference, what kind of work you do, socioeconomic status, all of that good stuff, that everyone deserves a good life. Everyone deserves to be respected. Everyone deserves to feel like their life has meaning and that their presence has meaning and that they deserve to be loved and that they actually get to feel that love. And what all of this discussion, I realize I've been all around the world here, is that being able to simultaneously hold history, hold space for history while moving forward simultaneously. And I think this discussion and acknowledging the role that Bebe Campbell has with Minority Mental Health Awareness Month is just another way of seeing the importance of when people do big work and they make big differences. It's hard to learn from them if you don't know them or you don't remember them or they're erased or we just look at the results. Because for a lot of us, the richness of life comes in the journey. Along that journey are all these lessons. And one of the reasons it's so beautiful to have history and to have mentors and to have peers, to have elders, is to be able to learn from the history and experiences of others so that you can build on these experiences in this history instead of restarting over all the time. And I think it's important for us to keep in mind the history behind the life that we're living, the history that supports our environment, the history that can inspire us to be better. Because at the end of the day, I look at it this way, that it's important for us to be the best person we can be and be the best version of ourselves, and also to get better. And you can't get better. It's hard to get better in isolation. It's hard to get better in ignorance. So by learning from other people, learning history and respecting history, it allows us to continue to make steps forwards and steps up. And having those things in mind also helps us bring other people along and have a mutual respect and appreciation, because everyone matters. It's interesting to say that in the context of, and this is outside of the context of does all lives matter or does Black Lives Matter, but each person was put on this earth for a reason. And it's so important to respect that and be able to acknowledge and appreciate the differences we all have along with the similarities, because it blends this beautiful tapestry that makes life richer. As an example, I was watching the movie Trolls World Tour on Sunday night. I admit it, I watch Trolls. Trolls is my jam. And one of the things that's interesting about the movie and how it parallels what we're dealing with is that you see Princess Poppy doesn't see the differences in all of the trolls. Her inability to see the differences made it so she couldn't appreciate what made all of them special and how they could really give to each other. And I feel like one of the things that we can do, which is not only a lesson from Trolls, but a lesson from life, and a lesson that I think is coming up from all of these conversations we're having about racial injustice, diversity, respect, is being able to appreciate differences as an asset and appreciate the fact that ways people may be different from us can enhance us. So I know I've been talking a long time. I want to again say thank you for spending time with me. I have been in awe of all of the love that I have received on my birthday. So I want to say thank you for sharing that with me. I'm very grateful for having the opportunity to spend my birthday with you and to have so many people to love and to love me. It allows me to get my love bucket filled, which allows me to pour out of my love bucket into so many people, which is such a blessing. It's always such a blessing. So I just want to say I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be loved by so many people, including my wonderful parents who are on tonight. So I just want to say, number one, please look up and get some information. This is a good time to learn about mental health and minority mental health. It is Bebe Campbell Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. It goes until the 31st. So this is a great time to learn. It is an excellent time to learn. If you're interested in a little bit more information specifically about it, I do recommend, it's a very interesting article that I mentioned earlier that Courtney Lang, Dr. Nell Prim, and Karis Jan Myrick wrote in stats.com about Bebe Campbell. If you're also interested in a lot more information, there's a great Facebook Live that's going to be on tomorrow. This isn't just a promo because it's mine. I'm not on it. I'm not on it at all. But I highly recommend it. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. It's going to be on Mental Health America's Facebook. And on it is Courtney Lang, who I mentioned earlier, the congressperson that put forth the resolution for Bebe Campbell Mental Health Awareness Month, the Honorable Albert Wynn. Bebe Campbell's husband's on there, along with her good friend and publicist, Linda Wharton Boyd, who helped her and was paired with her, and this duo did so much advocacy. So I highly recommend it. That comes on at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on Mental Health America's Facebook page. So I want to say thank you for coming on. Yes, Bunny, mental health is very important. And yes, Mom, I think the sound is okay. I know you typically have issues when I use this particular mic, so I try to speak up when you say it so I can make sure you hear me really well. I just want to say thank you again. Again, I am your host, Dr. Ericka, Harvard-trained, double board certified psychiatrist and integrative lifestyle coach. I'm on a mission to help women feel seen, valued, and whole on their own terms. But doesn't matter your gender, I'm here to help you get through all of the craziness right now on this journey of life with your sanity intact. If you're feeling stressed or you just need a checkup, or you're wondering, hey doc, how is my mental health? Because it's okay to get mental health checkups. You don't have to be totally jacked up to see me. I have my own private practice. It's a telepsychiatry practice, which means it's all mobile. All you need is a computer, iPad, or smartphone to see me. And you can be in, I'm seeing patients now in Georgia, Tennessee, or Massachusetts. All adults 18 and over. But I love it. It's very customized. The appointments are significantly longer, so I can really get in there and also give some holistic intervention. So I'm looking forward to people to come see me. You can actually go to askdrgoodwin.com, askdrgoodwin.com, and you can get a free 15-minute consultation with me. You have nothing to lose. It's free. So that's what I got for you tonight. I just want to say thank you again. I feel all the love. You have the same prescription as always. make sure you call at least one person and tell them that you love them. They'll tell you it back, I bet. So thank you so much and take care. Good night.